I've got too much Resident Evil crap.
Ink ribbon.
As a Resident Evil fan, sometimes examining items in the game just isn't enough. I want to hold them in my hands. So for years now, I've wanted to make replicas of different sort of like items that you find in Resident Evil, partially because I'm a nerd and also because I'd like to improve my skills for like cosplay and prop making and all that, because I'm not really that great at it, which you will see in this video. But I have made a couple that I am proud of, like my valve handle. I mean, seriously, look at this. This is made of craft foam. And honestly, a big reason that I haven't gotten around to it is just that the 3D printer I have sucks. It's like, okay, it's the one that everybody has. I'm not going to mention the name. Because when Antina reached out for a sponsorship and showed me their line of 3D printers, I was like, okay, the universe has said it is time to start making some Resident Evil key items. But more on that later. Today we're going to make 3 key items specifically from Resident Evil 2 because that's my favorite in the series, as you guys know. So we're going to be making the heart key, the jaguar stones in 2 pieces, and the eagle medal. I wanted to make more items, but that power outage just completely ruined my workflow and I wasn't able to finish the 3D models in time. So maybe in the future I'll do like shorts or a follow-up video or something. But anyway, let's get started. First, I modeled out the base meshes for the keys, the stones, and the medals, and the crests from Resident Evil 1, which sadly I wasn't able to make for this video. Starting with the first key, I went with the heart motif, and I'll admit my 3D sculpting isn't the best, but I was also rushing. After modeling, I printed it out for the first time on the shiny new Tina 2S 3D printer. This printer had an extremely easy setup. You literally open the box, take it out, remove the tape and the extra bits inside that are for protecting during shipping, you plug it in, you turn it on, you're ready to go. That is it. And if you're into 3D printing, listen to this. It has auto leveling. Every single time it prints, it does an auto level check. You never have to worry about leveling. It also has a removable magnetic bed that can bend a little bit, making for easy removal of projects that get a little stuck on there. For slicing, it has its own software, or you can use its Cura profile, all included on a micro SD card, as well as some test models. And one thing that surprised me too is it's really quiet. If you don't believe me, listen to this. Just so you guys hear how quiet this is, just listen. Now, this is really for small items only, but because they're small, they will never take too long to print, maybe a maximum of 5 hours. The Jaguar stone pieces only took 3 hours to print, and the heart key only took 45 minutes. If you're wanting to try 3D printing, but you're scared because it seems complicated, then I highly recommend getting this printer or any of the other ones in their Tina printer lines, because I'm telling you, after spending 9 hours assembling my first 3D printer and dealing with all sorts of problems and frustrations, this one is just so easy to use that even a child could get it up and running. If you want to check it out for yourself, the link is in the description below. Thank you so much to Antina for sponsoring this video and all future projects I'm going to make with this thing. Now let's continue making some Resident Evil items, shall we? So the first print of the key was okay, but I realized it was way too small and I also hadn't modeled the proportions correctly, so I went back and reworked the key a bit, scaled it up, and printed it once more, and it turned out so much better. So we'll set that aside for now and move on to the eagle medal. Now, this one was scary because it's so detailed, but I did my best to sculpt it as close to the original as I could, which again, this does not look like an eagle. It looks more like a phoenix, but I followed what was in the game. Sculpting in ZBrush is so much better, but I don't own ZBrush anymore, so I'm forcing myself to get better at sculpting in Blender, but it's a challenge. Once the medal was done, it went to Cura for slicing and then to the Tina 2S for printing. And the detail actually came out great. I really am going to have to make the wolf medal at some point though. Now, moving on to Claire's stones. As you can see, I did actually make the eagle stone, but I was way more excited to make the jaguar stone, specifically because it's in 2 pieces. I don't know, it just felt more video gamey. This was a challenge, but the technique that I used was from a YouTube channel called Blender Secrets, where he demonstrated using masking to sculpt engraved details, and it worked out pretty good. From there, once again, I exported the stones, sliced them in Cura, and printed them out, and to my surprise, the details were all there. I know these all look like they're made of soap right now, but this is where the magic happens. It's time to prime and paint. I took these all outside with my Code Veronica respirator and I sprayed them down with black Plasti Dip until they had an even coat. Basically what this does is it's a coat that will help paint stick to it while also smoothing the prints out just a little bit, and as a bonus it can make metallic paints really look like metal. After 4 hours of drying they were ready and I brought them inside and got ready to paint them. This is where I remind you that I am not a professional, I'm just doing this for fun, so before you comment, I'm very aware that my painting skills need work. That said, I started by using this metallic red paint, which is the same paint I used for my valve handle, and I gave it a pass over the red parts of the hard key. Then I mixed a shade of blue as close as I could to the one in the game, and gave a pass over the Jaguar stone pieces, but I purposely didn't go into any of the engraved parts, which really helped sell the effect of the detailing a lot. And then I went over the eagle metal with this gold paint, and I'm really not happy with how it turned out, but I guess it could have been worse. I should also mention these are just cheap acrylic paints being applied with a cheap brush, so there's only so much I can achieve in terms of quality. Not to mention I was rushing because I wanted to get this video done in time for you. After letting the paint dry and running some errands, I came back for the final step, which was sealing. I'm using something called Mod Podge, which basically creates like a hard coating over the paint to prevent it from chipping, and it comes in different finishes. I'll be using the matte finish for the Jaguar stones and a metallic gloss for the heart key and the eagle metal. It goes on white, but it dries clear, and it really helps sell the materials with levels of shine. Alright, so after like 24 hours of curing, this is the Jaguar stone. The blue isn't quite what I was wanting it to be, but, you know, this was a first attempt. I'm learning as I'm going, but, I mean, it's still really cool to hold this in my hand. Like, I don't know how big these actually are in the game. They're probably a little bit bigger, but I didn't want to, like, go crazy or whatever. But, yeah, it's really cool. I want to print all 3 of these and just have them, and eventually my house is just going to turn into like a Resident Evil museum. And then we have the metal, which I don't know, this paint is a little too brassy because the eagle metal looks very well, it looks more yellow. This is more brass gold. I don't know, you know what I mean, but I think this could be saved if I went in and brushed in some details. I don't know. But you can see the Mod Podge is really doing the work there. It helps sell the metal effect. Not like 100%, but yeah. So, whee! And then last we have the heart key, which I think actually turned out really good. I know it's not like super accurate to the game, but you know, it is what it is. It's just for fun. Relax, people. Everyone gets so worked up about stuff. Yeah, I have to tell you, as a Resident Evil fan, it's really cool to hold all these in my hand. I just wish I was able to print the full set, because that was the whole goal of this video. I was going to do all 4 keys, the 3 stones, and then the 2 metals, and I wanted to do the medallions. Saying that out loud, maybe I got a little ahead of myself. That's a lot of work, but anyway. So I think there's still a lot that I could improve on, but I learned a lot making these. And remember, just like drawing or 3D modeling or any other skill, the more you do it, the better you get. You can't just do something right out the gate and like be amazing. Although I'm sure some of you are watching this and you're like, oh, here's what he did wrong. I could do that better. But I'd love to do more items like from obviously Resident Evil, but even like Silent Hill or Tomb Raider, or who knows what franchise. Especially now that I have the Tina 2S 3D printer. Huge thanks to Tina for sponsoring this video, and again, if you want to check out their lines of 3D printers, the link is in the description. I know some of you out there are like amazing crafters and can do all sorts of cool stuff, so if you end up 3D printing any stuff for video games or whatever, I'd love to see it, so be sure to tag me on Instagram and Twitter and be like, look what I made, because I want to see it. Now, I have to find a spot for these on my very cluttered nerd shelf. But I'm gonna end this video here, and thank you guys so much for almost 200,000 subscribers. Like, that's crazy. I still don't know how I'm gonna celebrate that milestone, but I guess we'll figure it out when we get to it. But regardless, you guys are amazing. So go drink water, and until next time, I'm Kai Morgan, and as always, thanks for watching Ink Ribbon.
Music. I can't live without music. I'm dancing and I'm singing to the music. My heart beats to the music. Music. Music is the thing that makes my brain spin round and round.